During the season of Lent, we continue talking now about the events of Jesus' life, the events that end in his passion and death on the cross. And today we look at a couple more of those events. Remember the story that Jesus has been in the garden. Jesus goes through his agony in the garden. He's betrayed by his friends. And now what happens is that Judas and the soldiers and the police come out to take him prisoner. If you notice this picture, that this is the ultimate betrayal. Notice the scene is one of turbulence. There are people waving their clubs, people shouting, all kinds of activity. Then there's this one scene of Judas enveloping Jesus with his red cloak, with his yellow cloak rather, and kissing Jesus in the sign of betrayal. And the face on Jesus is just a face of of patience, of understanding, of resignation. And as this betrayal goes on, behind is there the impetuous Peter, as you see behind Jesus. He's cutting off the ear of one of the servants, and Jesus will heal the ear of that servant. And Peter, who is now so intent on defending Jesus, he and all the others will soon run away and leave Jesus alone. One of the questions is, what made Judas betray Jesus? The gospel stories tell us that he was interested in money, but more recent people look at Judas and say, perhaps it wasn't that. Perhaps he was just disappointed that Jesus hadn't acted as quickly as he might have, and that by bringing the soldiers to find Jesus where Judas knew he would be, that he would force Jesus to take some action. And of course, he was mistaken. He didn't. The picture reminds us that in the confusion of our lives, that sometimes we get lost and we leave and we forget Jesus and where he is too. The second picture is a picture of the next step. It's a picture of Jesus now on trial before the high priest. Jesus was a Jew. He was raised as a Jew. He kept the Jewish holidays. He knew the Jewish law. He preached in the Jewish synagogues. But now he teaches, or he's been teaching, that God is working through him in a special way. That now all the work that God did in the life of the people of Israel in the past is coming to a new head in the life and death of Jesus. Now, the picture shows us Jesus before the Jewish leaders. Notice there are two focuses of light in the picture. First one is the little candle by the book that the high priest is looking at. The book is, of course, the book of the law, and the high priest is pointing to Jesus and saying, but you don't live up to, you don't fill out the kind of understanding we have of these scriptures. Then, standing facing him is Jesus in a whole different source of his own light. And the artist means to show us this painting, which comes from around 1617 by a Dutch artist. The artist is meant to show that Jesus has his own light, that he himself is the light of the world, and that his light shines brighter than any other light we might see. So at the same time that this is happening, we're intended to remember that what's happening outside is that Peter's outside in the darkness, denying that he ever knew Jesus. So the lesson for us is to live in Jesus' light, not to live in the darkness, but to follow Jesus in the light that he shows us.